is Building 7. How did it fall if nothing
Exactly,
hit
because
it?
the heat around it, dude.
It was never on fire. It was never on fire.
It wasn't on fire, but the buildings around it, the explosions around it, it's very...
There was plenty closer buildings. Why didn't they fall?
Okay.
So welcome to the Media Ethics Roundtable. With me today is Jeremiah, Patrick, and Caitlin on the far end there. For the first part, we'll be talking about diversity in the entertainment industry. Jennifer Lawrence has gone on record to speaking out against the wage gap between men and women. Meryl Streep also came out talking about the lack of parts written for women, especially once they reach a certain age. And Spike Lee has also talked about the diversity of people behind the camera and on camera. So starting out, I want to just broadly pose the question, how would you rate the current state of diversity in the entertainment industry?
It's better than it was 20 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
It's not bad. I mean, behind the camera, there's a lot more diversity than there is, I think, in front of the camera. Mm-hmm. There are certainly shows that are called, oh, that's a black show, that's an Asian show, specifically blackish and fresh off the boat. The Goldbergs, which I guess you could call a Jewish show, but it's vaguely Jewish. Mm-hmm. But behind the camera, I work in production from time to time, and there are quite a few Hispanics and African Americans and a few Asians working behind the camera, plenty of women. But there are a good amount of women who are working in behind the camera. So,
would you guys agree to that statement, or?
Yeah, I think it's getting a lot better. I don't think it's where it should be because there's
plenty more to go.
Plenty more to go. Your question reminds me of the recent episode of, well, it's not so recent, but a couple months ago, if you watch Project Greenlight, and one of the producers, Effie, had a little tiff with Matt Damon.
Oh, yeah.
Because, you remember that? Mm-hmm. Because he said, okay, let's limit the minority hires,
Well, I think what happened was somebody asked Matt Damon, should we try to cast a minority in this role? And Matt Damon said, why are you talking about that right now? We'll worry about diversity another time. And that kind of got blown out of context or something to that effect. I don't remember exactly what the quote was.
I think he said...
I probably should have looked this up.
Yeah, I think what he said was he would worry about diversity in the casting, and Effie took offense to that because she said she wanted diversity on and off camera. And Matt Damon got cast in a bad light because it seemed that he only worried about black characters on the show, not the behind the camera.
So you're saying, should there be more people behind the camera, either making decisions or
yes,
at a creative level?
Yeah, I mean, everyone's worried about, there's not enough minorities there's not enough ethnic diversity in casting. Mm-hmm. But if you have more ethnic diversity in the higher up positions, you don't have to worry about it anymore because those people will be concerned about it. Not even concerned about it. They won't go, oh, well, we already have a black guy. If the person making the decisions is black, they're just not going to think about it, about their show or movie in that context. I wouldn't think. I would hope not.
Well, I think it's like a catch-22 because, first of all, you shouldn't think about when you're hiring off the camera or on camera, you shouldn't think about race.
No.
You should think about who is the best for the job. And race should not enter in the picture. But if you consistently hire, like your crew does not look diverse at all after every project, then,
maybe start considering it.
Yes.
Yeah.
What about projects for specifically for women and different ethnicities?
I think I'll take the women one
Okay.
here. So, you know what? I've noticed like a current trend in women. There's been more roles for women, but I feel like it's really been pigeonholed into like making this badass kind of woman work. And it's a little bit like that's not reflective of our lives. I don't feel like they're really making women characters are making women caricatures, you know? Like, they have to be badass, they have to be strong, they have to be this. And I feel like if you really want a diverse, if you really want diverse roles, if you want roles for women over a certain age, I feel like you need to open that up. Like, I don't feel like it's been achieved until we can really get, like, a female Travis Bickle or female Walter White. Like, you know, I feel like those roles are not open for women. Like, even when I notice in Jessica Jones, like, there's still, like, this rooted sentimentality of, like, she cares about humanity, she cares about her best friend, and I feel like
you want a female character who just doesn't give a damn.
Well,
about
I mean,
humanity.
that's a portion of the population. I feel like, yeah, sure, you can have those roles and those are fun, but I think those are kind of like so 5 years ago, where it's like it's kind of like giving women these roles of like they have to be strong and powerful in this, and it's like, well, you know, some of us are just like any other person, you know, some of us are. Some of us are weird, some of us are not strong, some of us are weak and cowardly, and some of us, you know, some of us are strong, some of us are funny, some of us are this, you know?
Right.
And I feel like that complexity never gonna gets past, you know, and it just never gets to be explored.
But I certainly think that's a good thing. And I understand you love to see the anti-hero, and it'd be cool to have an anti-hero that's a woman. But I think it empowers girls and, you know, teenagers when they see women, you know, kicking ass on TV.
Yeah, I mean, I certainly think it does. And it does serve a point, and it's fun to watch. But I feel like there's other, like, we're not speaking to another part of the population.
I agree.
You're not speaking to me of, like, you know, we need more, you know, characters the same amount as males.
Right.
Like I said, we don't have those equivalents. We only have, like, they're only super powerful, they're the only this. Or even, like, you know, with the new Ghostbusters. They're giving us Ghostbusters. Give us something else. Let us have our own thing.
So do you feel that casting an all-female Ghostbusters is sort of, some sort of, what would you call it?
It's kind of an appeasement.
Appeasement.
It's kind of an appeasement. It's just
sorry.
like kind of being like, okay, we'll appease you guys. We'll take this, and it's like just
Stop
give us your
complaining.
own
We
thing.
gave you Ghostbusters.
Yeah, exactly. It's
You
sort
had
of like
Bridesmaids.
that. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And it's sort of like, well, like give us our own cool ass thing that's gonna be remembered for years. You know.
But here's one thing. It's interesting that you brought up Jessica Jones, because Jessica Jones is written by
a woman,
right?
Uh-huh.
Melissa Rosenberg, who's
Yes.
the head writer.
And it's a
Yes.
largely female-led cast. And
Yeah.
It is.
So, would you say creatively, is it important that a female or any other ethnicity or gender be in control of telling those specific stories, or can anybody tell those stories?
well, who
Like,
writes?
can a man write for a female lead?
I've
It
written
really
for female leads.
It really depends, I think. Like, it really depends. Like, some men can do it really well, and that's great. You know, like you said, you've written, you know, I'm sure all of us have written
I've tried. I don't think I'm
cross-gendered.
very good at it. I usually ask for help from a female friend who is also a writer. When
I think, I think that's very valid, because it's like, it's kind of hard too for me to kind of cross over and be like, you know, my characters are mostly female because that's kind of my, you know, how I view the world. That's kind of my relatability. I know what a female's going to do. And I think that is important to have women, you know, strong women voices. But I think it's another issue if somebody's maybe pressing them and being like, no, we got to make all the characters in Jessica Jones very strong. And I don't know. I felt like some of the characters in it, it's just specifically the Trish character, best friend, I believe her name is Trish, I don't remember.
yes,
But she was like so over the top, it was almost patronizing.
Oh,
It's
'cause she's, like, doing
let
Krav
it
Maga
lay.
and-
Yeah, it's like
yeah.
let it lay, you know? Like, Jesus
get it
Christ.
yourself.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, okay, enough. It's suffocating. It's like if you have people behind, you know, maybe the writers, producers or whatever telling them like, no, we need to see women in this. It's very limiting, I feel like. But, I mean.
what do you think about Orange Is the New Black?
I mean, I love Orange Is the New Black.
But in
I think
terms
it's
of
great,
I
but-
mean, the female characters on that, to my mind, to my eye, I think they're a pretty broad spectrum of.
Oh, of course.
I feel the
types
same
of
way.
characters.
I think that's very interesting, and I actually like I like more of the characters. I don't like Piper.
No, I hate
and
Piper.
Alex.
I hate the
I don't
lead.
really like
I like
them.
everyone else.
I feel like that everyone else is so much more interesting, and I feel like it's a great kind of.
I actually like Piper, but I love this show because, and this is why I think it's so popular, because the audience is thirsting for that diversity.
Yeah.
And they
Yeah.
cover the whole spectrum. They got the rich girl piper, or the well-off girl piper, from the impoverished and just caught up in the system, you know. And they have so many perspectives on that show that you
Yeah.
don't see on other shows, and that's why people love it. And it's kind of like Glee back when it was like 7 years ago. It wasn't so much that it was a good show; it was diverse and it was relatable to teenagers at that time. And I think that's what we need. Diversity is key in bringing not only bigger and broader audiences, but I think it's the key in helping our society, because it's so what's the word I'm looking for, separatist. It's everything's
Segregated.
segregated. Yeah.